Go to the Hercules Tire Hotline. Joining us on the Classic Inc. pole position is that winner Saturday night at the fabulous Lincoln Speedway, Kasey Kahne. Hello, Kasey. Welcome to Wing Nation.
Hey guys, good to be on the show.
Well, congratulations on that win. Tell us about Kasey's Pennsylvania adventure and that big win on Saturday night.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I was pretty excited, and Justin Adams, we just kind of sit at the shop, and when I'm not at the cup shop or something, we're always working on my car and just getting things ready to go. Justin also helps the outlet teams full time, making sure that their stuff goes smoothly. So he's a busy guy, but yeah, we put a lot into it and went to Pennsylvania for Easter weekend, and didn't run as well at the Grove, but learned some things there and drew a really tough heat and started last. So that made it a tough spot to start. And then Lincoln was qualifying, so we ended up qualifying third. Started fourth in the heat and ran second, and then started off the front row with Brian Monty for the feature, and the track was slick and was able to lead the whole race. I saw Brian once, and someone said that he was on the outside of me once also, so I haven't seen any video or anything like that, but I know he was close there for a long time and still pretty close at the end.
This is probably going to be one of the dumbest questions I ask, but your schedule is not an easy one. And people will say the NASCAR schedule is 38 races, but when you times that by 2 or 3 days of the track, you're looking at over 100 dates. You finally get a weekend off. You could have gone anywhere. You could have gone to an island somewhere. You could have went to the mountains. Why go race in Pennsylvania?
Well, that's a good question. I saw a lot of people were kind of looked like they're in tropical areas, which would have been really nice. But I was just into sprint car racing this weekend. That's all I really wanted to do. I was looking forward to it since racing out at Yuma. I felt like we were, getting closer and closer with Australia and then Yuma, and just starting to kind of get a better feel in a sprint car again. And I wanted to go to Pennsylvania and race up there. I've always liked those racetracks up there, and so it was just, it was a good time to go up there. I still made it home Sunday morning got home at 5:40 in the morning, so I was able to do Easter and everything with Sam and Tanner, and that was cool. Not that he really knew what was going on, but we still had a fun time on Easter Sunday.
That is cool. It's interesting just doing research. You did go to Williams Grove in 2000 and won the season opener up there. So it's not the first win in Posse Town, in Posse Land up there. Kasey, the road trip, we're so fortunate in NASCAR. We jump on our planes, we stay in hotels or buses and everything else. You chose to ride up with the guys in the transporter. I saw there was a diesel stop in the middle of the night coming home. I mean, how much fun is that just to get a chance to do a guy's weekend like that?
Well, to me, it's a blast, and I tell my.
We've lost Kasey. Well, let's hang tough there and see if we can get him back, because I
You
want to
can
find out
hear
about
he's
blast.
having fun.
Yeah,
That's what I love
think
about
that's
it.
the thing. I think
just
that's the
really
thing.
wanted to get back in my sprint car.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the cool part about it, is that it was fun and it was a throwback weekend for him. I mean, we are so fortunate in the NASCAR world, the way we travel, what we get to do. And we've talked to Tony about this. We've talked to Kasey about Kasey, we've got you back now. We lost you right at the beginning of that. How much fun was it just to go throwback and ride in the transporter and do the whole weekend like that?
Yeah, sorry about that. It was great, and I enjoy that stuff. I enjoy driving, whether it's, I used to do it all the time. So I was either driving the truck and trailer or driving my truck to wherever the particular track was that we were racing. So I've always been into that. But, with NASCAR and stuff, we fly so many places, so it makes it, so much easier to do the NASCAR schedule the way that we do it. And I always tell the guys, like, man, I love this stuff. And Brad Sweet reminds me all the time, if you did it 95 times a year, you wouldn't like it as much as you do traveling up and down the road just your couple, 2-3 times a year.
I'm personally really hard on the Pennsylvania fans. Steve loves them. I'm very hard on them. I feel like they're very territorial, as we all know.
Yes.
But were they like that with you when you came in this weekend, or did you feel like they welcomed you back?
Well, that was, for whatever reason, the PA fans have actually always been really good to me. Even when I raced up there in the end of '99 and 2000, I drove the Zimco car, and then I drove my dad's car and won the Grove opener and ran second to battle with Raymer and Kreitz the next day at Lincoln and ran second over there. So they've always been really, really good to me. And then we've done some foundation events at Williams Grove, and now the last few years we've been doing the Dirt Classic at Lincoln, and the fans have supported those races unbelievably. So standing in victory lane on the front stretch at Lincoln, there was a great crowd in the stands, and then also up against the fence, and then people down on the track also, and they were all really excited and into it. So I think I'm not sure why, but I know that I've always had a pretty good support team from up there, and it's been pretty cool because they definitely love their PA posse guys.
So is Enum secretly in Pennsylvania then? Are you posse then?
I don't think I'm posse, but I think maybe I'm like, I don't know. They just I don't think they dislike me as much as some of the others.
No. Boy, you're right about that.
And they're probably claiming you now.
Oh, I don't.
You probably are like, oh no, he's posse.
Yeah,
he won here.
Hey, Kasey, you took a guy by the name of Lee Stauffer back up there with him. Now Lee's the guy that has that World of Outlaw schedule, and he takes off on a weekend and go. Had to be fun. I would dare say Lee really enjoyed going into Lincoln and winning. Was that probably accurate?
Yeah, Lee's been really happy and excited this week. We've talked a couple times since. And just being at the Grove in Lincoln, and he wasn't, didn't have the outlaw schedule and the outlaw, kind of that extra, we have to run good, the pressure and stuff that the outlaw deal throws at you. He was just there enjoying himself, and he's talking to all his friends and people coming around and stuff. So I saw a smile on his face all weekend long, and then to end up in Victory Lane, somewhere that he's been a lot at Lincoln Speedway. I've never been until Saturday night, but that was good. It was a great way to cap off the weekend.
You have this other job on Sundays, your NASCAR deal, and about 4 years ago, it kind of became a trend that drivers were not kind of quote unquote allowed to do extracurricular racing and not go dirt racing. Now we've kind of seen it swing the other way. You've been racing again. Kyle Larson's been back in a sprint car. Do you feel like the owners in NASCAR or the powers that be of NASCAR are more forgiving of what you're doing and see the benefits of you getting back to dirt?
Yeah, I think for my particular deal, I just think that, I've been, so into sprint car racing for so long, and I explained that to my guys, to the higher ups at Hendrick and Mr. Hendrick also, and just try to explain that this is kind of my life. This is what I've always done, and I really enjoy it. We have the teams, and I didn't race much, and nobody raced a whole lot there for a little while, but I think now, as long as it doesn't interfere and kind of conflict with what we're trying to do on Sunday, because that's, to me, that's what it's all about is winning cup races and being more competitive than what I've been the last couple of years in the cup car. So I need to get there. But as long as it's not, conflicting with that, then to go out and run some sprint car races and really just kind of get a clean slate and enjoy yourself. Those are some of the best weekends that I have. So, yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I'm glad Mr. H has let me do it a little bit more.
Well, when we talked to you earlier this year, we brought up this big weekend in sprint car racing this year where there's not a NASCAR race.
Oh, boy, here we go.
The Knoxville Nationals. And you had said you weren't sure that you could get back in a car and compete at that level because you hadn't been in one. Well, you were very good at Yuma. You beat the PA posse. Is there any part of you that's like, maybe I could go do that?
Well, I've definitely been on my radar. But I know that my next races, I plan on doing some of Ohio Speed Week, and hopefully I can do 5 or 6 of those shows. So, I'm looking forward to that. My whole plan is to see how those go, and then, look at the races after that. So I just kind of go day by day right now with this schedule. But one thing that I do like so much about Knoxville is supporting my teams and supporting the guys that do it full time, Darren and Brad. Each guy on those teams, and just going out there and cheering them on, supporting them, having beers with them, just relaxing on that weekend. We have big cookouts, and it's really a blast. So I don't want to change that. I don't want to take that from them, and I don't want to really change it on my end either. So I'm not sure, but I definitely will be there supporting the event, supporting my teams, and I doubt I'll be racing, to tell you the truth, because I just want those guys to win the Knoxville Nationals so bad, and I know that either one of them can.
Boy, no doubt about it. You're going there loaded for bear, as always is the case. Kasey, we are up against time, but I really want to mention this. Your involvement with the Dirt Classic program. You talked about it at Lincoln, but you guys have expanded this thing now to 5 races across the country: Nebraska, back at Lincoln, Kokomo, Attica Raceway Park. What's the mission here with the Dirt Classic that you and Jared are putting together?
Well, Jared's doing a great job, and I like supporting it. I hope I can run a show or 2 of those, but just trying to create exciting events and races and have them to keep growing. And if we put the money there, if we get the fans involved and do the things that Jared's working hard to do, then, I think we can keep growing those races. And I think that's what it's all about. You see Brad Sweet doing the same thing at Placerville. He's been trying to grow that race. The first year it was just a 6,000 to win race. This year it was a 10,000 on a weeknight. I mean, and they've done a great job. So just trying to build it, enjoy it, and you need a lot of support to make that happen. So if you can build a nice event and get all the racers to want to do it, then the fans hopefully show up and enjoy themselves and have some fun.
Steve keeps telling me we got to go, but I have to ask. Adorable son Tanner, so cute. Has he been around the sprint car yet?
He came to Yuma.
Oh,
and,
good.
Yeah, he came to Yuma and he was at Chili Bowl, the practice night at Chili Bowl, and he just stares. Like when I get in the car, he'll be Sam will be holding him, and he just stares like the whole time on what I'm doing. And then when I was racing, he's just watching. I'm not sure if he knows exactly what he's watching, but he watches Cup races too. He just stares at the TV and just watches the cars. So I'm not sure what he's thinking, but he's definitely into it, and he pays attention.
Well, it's in his blood.
That is so cool. That really is. Kasey, one final little piece of business. We do the Jeff Gordon Kick It Person of the Week, and it's just for somebody who did something extra. When we get an email from a dad who took his kid to the pits and you hung around and signed autograph and got picture with the kid, you made a lifelong memory for that young man, and I know a lot of other fans. So we are going to honor you with our Jeff Gordon's Kick It Person of the Week, which is something we do each and every week. And just congratulations on just a fun weekend hanging out with the fans. They enjoyed it, but it sounds like you enjoyed it more.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. That's great. The Kick It, I like being part of that. We'll do the go-kart race out at Knoxville this year, which is always good, and then the Kick It games have been great. But yeah, there were so many great fans up there. There always are, and they just kept coming after the race. So we stayed for a couple hours and took care, did pictures and talked and signed some things for everyone. And I'm glad that kid and his dad enjoyed their night.
Made some memories, that's for sure. Kasey, congratulations, and we'll look forward to chatting with you up in Martinsville this weekend.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
There we go. That is Kasey Kahne. What a great story from beginning to end.